Alright guys, welcome back to the 35th episode of this review series where I review everything and save the world. For this episode, I'm going to be doing a review on the Storm King Scourge. I'll be showing you the best perks, the best hero loadout, and some gameplay. Let's get into it. Alright, first for the perks I put on it. For the first one, you can have crit damage, coin rate, crit rating, damage, or fire rate. I put crit damage because I use a crit build for this. And don't put crit rating here because this one can't be crit damage, so this one has to be crit rating. And then cooling rate isn't needed if you don't overheat the weapon. So like if it starts glowing, the little crystals, just stop shooting for like 2 seconds and then you can go back into battle. It'll never overheat and you just keep doing that damage. Then we got damage. It's consistent damage, but it's not huge. If you have crit damage, it'll be huge, but less consistent. If you have damage, it'll be consistent, but not as huge. Then we got fire rate. If you choose fire rate, it'll shoot faster, but why choose that instead of a crit damage perk? And also, it will overheat faster, so why do that? Crit rating, damage, fire rate, headshot damage, or heat capacity. For headshot damage, this, it's not meant for a headshot build. Why do that? Use a crit build. And then heat capacity isn't needed if you just, you look at the crystals as you're firing. If it gets glowing, a bit too much, then stop shooting for, a second or two, and then you'll be good. Then we got, for the element, energy or physical. If you're going against enemies with, element, go energy. If you're going against enemies with no element, go physical. Then we got crit damage, damage to miss monsters and bosses, damage, and headshot damage. Again, I put a crit build, so that's why I went for crit damage. Don't go for miss monsters and bosses, because that's just, it only damages them more, instead of just crit damage, where it damages everything. And then for the last one, we've got damage, damage to miss monsters and bosses, fire rate, and impact. Impact isn't needed. You kill things faster than it would knock them back with the impact. And then damage to miss monsters and bosses, I'd say damage is better because it'll do 30% to everything instead of the 36% to just the miss monsters and bosses. So yeah. Anyway, let's get on to the hero loadout I use for this. Alright, now for the hero loadout I use for this. For the commander, I have Crack Shot, which has Mad Tidings Plus. Firing a ranged weapon grants 1 stack of Holiday Spirit up to 50 stacks. Each stack of Holiday Spirit increases ranged weapon damage by 2.9%, but decreases weapon stability by 0.7%. Buff removed on weapon swap or reload. That also counts for overheat. So yeah. So what this means is every shot up to 50 increases your damage, bam, 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 just increases. So it increases so much, and if you don't overheat, then it won't stop the damage. So what you do is, if you're shooting a lot, then if the crystals start glowing, wait for a second or two until they stop glowing, and then you can start shooting again, and you'll keep this buff for the entire game as long as you don't die or overheat accidentally. So it's crazy, just tons of damage. And then for the team perk, we got Blast from the Past. Removes all shield and increases max health by 200%. Support team, we've got Saurian Might from Rex Jonesy. This actually works with Blast from the Past, so every 1 second adds 3% of current health to damage of next ranged weapon hit. So that means with all this health, you're doing tons of damage added onto it. So that's just crazy. You're staying alive with the health, and you're doing extra damage. Then we got Saurian Hide from Prehistoric Izza. While shield is depleted, increases armor by 33, which just keeps you alive longer and activates the Blast from the Past team perk since it's also a dino. Then we got Survivalist Jonesy or Birthday Brigade Jonesy. Eliminations heal you for 39 base health over 3 seconds. Duration refreshes with additional eliminations. So that means every kill you get, you're getting health back, and you basically never die as long as you keep killing. And then we got Assault Crit Damage from Tactical Assault Sledgehammer. Increases Assault and SMG critical damage by 75%. SMG bonus does not stack with Make It Count. So this means since it's a crit build, the crit damage is higher once you hit those crits. So that's pretty good. Then we got Startup from Bulletstorm Jonesy. Every shot increases ranged weapon damage by 1% up to a maximum of 25 stacks. Switching weapons or reloading removes the buff. So this is like Crackshot, except Crackshot's little brother. So it's not as good, but it still is really good. But yeah, anyway, let's get on to the gameplay.
Take out the enemies to clear the encampment.
The gameplay you're seeing in the background is a part of level 140 Destroy the Encampment's mission. So this weapon takes 25 shots to overheat, which means if you want to get Crackshot's full buff, you have to shoot it and then until like it's about to overheat, and then you stop and you keep doing that like 3 times, and then you will get Crackshot's the final buff. And that's pretty good. Like, it doesn't take that long. And yeah, then the special perk is hitting an enemy applies a charge, building up to 5 charges, or switching targets detonates the charges, dealing 100% of weapon damage to the target and nearby enemies. Each charge increases the radius up to a max of 0.75 tiles. So that means if you shoot an enemy 5 times, it'll explode, and it'll explode enemies around it, and it's pretty good. You could deal with hordes really easy with this. And if you hit an enemy but you don't kill it and then you switch to another enemy, it will cause an explosion, but not as big as if you hit an enemy 5 times. And yeah, so it's pretty good. Like, horde clearing, it's super good, just exploding everything, so easy. And yeah, and it's also good for big enemies too. So like smashers, they're done for. Like this weapon, bop 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 bop, in like just 5 shots and it will probably kill it. I haven't tried that yet, but like after 5 shots it'll cause the explosion, and that will probably end it off. And yeah, anyway, let's get on to the scale. Alright, now we're on the scale, and if you don't know what this is, basically I put the Storm King Scourge here, and the garbage, it's okay, or legendary category, depending on how good it is. And this weapon, really good for clearing out hordes, with that insane explosion, just taking out everything. And then also big enemies they also die, because this weapon, it does tons of damage. And yeah, so obviously, it gets a legendary. It's super good for everything, and tons of damage. But anyway guys, if you enjoyed it, hopefully anyway, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because I do these review videos where I review everything and save the world every other day. And also like, comment, and share so that more people can see my videos. Anyway guys, I'll see you next time.